Nobody's coming to tap you on the shoulder and say, "You're ready now." You decide to start acting like a boss, and that's what makes you one. There's not one person in my life that I know that's doing what I am doing and works harder than me. That's validation enough to me that I am a boss. Oftentimes, we get in the habit of normalizing the waiting game. We get into these habits of waiting until we feel qualified or we have some set of skills that becomes legitimized in order for us to consider ourselves like experts at something, right? It's what we're conditioned to believe. But that isn't always necessarily the case, which is where the saying, "fake it till you make it," comes from. We have to be able to envision and embody the person that we are aiming to be in order to become that person. Especially for people who grew up, being taught that we need to be obedient first and bold later, or that there is always a leader and we need to follow. I have always had these crazy ideas in relation to what my immediate friends and family have always thought about. But I've always had these crazy ideas about putting myself on a platform or speaking out loud, being able to talk, being able to speak to a camera or a crowd or an audience. I've always seen that in me as sort of something that I am just naturally good at and comfortable doing. And I didn't always get straight up validation about that, but I did in many ways get people who would suddenly tell me things like, you give good advice, or I wanted to come to you for this because I know you give good advice when it comes to XYZ, or what do you think about this? People would just kind of seek validation or advice, or even just someone to just listen to them. And that enough was validation for me to feel like this is something that I'm good at. I didn't need anyone to tell me hey, you should be a content creator. Hey, you should put yourself on YouTube and start making YouTube videos. Nobody was ever going to tell me that. But being a boss comes down to having a particular mindset. It's not necessarily a title. It's supposed to be an embodiment of who you are. You don't need a full-blown LLC. You don't need, the girl boss aesthetic or even an office setup to be a boss. You just need to embody it and be able to walk with the confidence that you know what you're doing, what you're talking about. You are an expert in whatever it is that you are wanting to be a boss at. And that's just that. Bosses take initiative. Bosses bet on themselves. Bosses learn out loud. They move even when they're scared. These are the things that differentiate a leader from a follower. And you can lead before anyone recognizes you as a leader. How do you become a leader? You embody that in every single thing, every single aspect of your life. You do things as a leader would. And I don't mean to say any of this to sound like those hardcore people that are you need to wake up at 5 a.m., you need to do your bed, you need to read for 10 minutes a day, you need to meditate, you need to take your vitamins. I do think that there's a lot of that's oversaturated on the internet nowadays, but there is some truth to discipline. Leaders display healthy, consistent discipline. That's what being a leader is. That's what being a boss is. If you see yourself as the CEO of a company one day and you want to start acting like it, you need to ask yourself, in every single thing that you do in every single part of your life, what would a CEO do? What would a boss do? What would a leader do? If somebody is asking you for help with something that you know you're fully capable of doing, even when you don't want to do it, you ask yourself, what would a leader do right now in this situation? When something happens that requires integrity of you and you find yourself in a moral dilemma, what do I do? What would a leader do? I know these are very small, maybe minuscule examples, but it's the little tiny details that add up to create the whole of who you are as a person. So if in every single little detail of what you do and who you are is not thought of from the perspective of a leader, how the hell do you expect the whole of you to be a leader, to be a boss, if you don't lead in every single facet of your life? If you don't make decisions like a boss in every single facet of your life, if you don't take the initiative in every single facet of your life, in your relationships, in your friendships, in your health, your wellness, your sleep schedule, your education, if you don't make decisions that take the initiative to make you and transform you into a leader or a boss, then how the hell do you really expect yourself to be one? So now boss behavior for me translates into things like pitching myself to clients even when I don't feel like I'm ready. Learning how to talk about myself, how to talk about my skills, how to talk about what I'm good at, how to talk about myself in an authentic way, not just like a way that's like talking me up and this like fluff. How to like actually talk about what I'm good at and sell it to someone. Showing up online consistently. I want to be a successful content creator. And what do successful content creators do? They show up consistently, daily, multiple times a day on multiple occasions. Calling myself a digital marketer before anyone even hired me. How's anyone going to take the chance on me if I don't take the chance on myself? So those are the small little details that I had to magnify to myself, things that maybe once upon a time I was like running from or hiding from, or like not wanting to face the music on, because let's be real, as human beings, we are the best liars to ourselves. We wear the best masks when we look in the mirror. We don't want to see the truth. We don't want to admit the truth. And we certainly don't want to hear the truth when other people say it to us. That's just how we're conditioned. So what is it that you're waiting on? Really, to be a leader or to be a boss? Are you waiting for your friends to hype you up? Are you waiting for a man to support you? Are you waiting for a sign or a mentor or the perfect moment? What is it that you're truly waiting for before you start to take the initiative and be a leader in your life? Those are the questions you need to ask yourself and start being really, really honest about it. Because if you don't take the initiative on doing that shadow work within yourself, you're never, ever, ever going to see any sort of transformation or progression. You are already qualified to do whatever it is that you want to do. It's already there. It's already written in your destiny. You just have not claimed it yet. And your dream isn't on hold because you're not ready. It's on hold because you're still waiting to be chosen. You're still waiting in this invisible imaginary line for somebody to say, okay, it's time now, it's your turn. That's not reality. That's not the world that we live in. Boss, once again, for the record, boss is not a title that someone gives you. It's a title that you embody.